Welcome back to the Relationship Refinery. I'm Asia, here to help you redefine as well as refine the way that you view healthy relationships. I have already started a series titled Love Is, where I'm helping you to understand what love is using 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. I've already addressed the first part of 1 Corinthians 13, 4, and in this video, I'm going to be addressing the last half of 1 Corinthians 13, 4. So if you didn't already check it out, make sure that you do so now. In this video, we're talking about ways that you can love your children using 1 Corinthians 13. And of course, before we get started, make sure that you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time that I post a video. So let's go ahead and get started. First Corinthians 13:4, all of it says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. Like I said, we've already addressed the love is patient, love is kind. Today we're talking about it does not envy, it does not boast, and it does not brag, or it's not proud. Let's start with envy. We're going to first look at the definition of envy using the Oxford Dictionary. So it says, a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. It's important for you not to be envious of your child. I mean, that really should go without saying that you shouldn't be envious of anybody, but especially not your child, because parents who are envious of their children may end up stifling their growth, may end up telling them no, saying that it's out of safety or because I said so, but really it's because of envy. Not allowing your children to make mistakes, or just like putting a cap on the things that they can do because of your envy. And that's not beneficial to them, because you're, like I said, you're not allowing them to grow. So some examples of that, three major examples of that, and I'm sure there's plenty of others. And if you could think of some, you can put them in the comment section. Maybe you can remember of a time in which your parent, grandparent, like I said, whoever raised you was envious, or maybe you'd be willing to admit times that you were envious of your child. But like I said, three major examples that I can think of is, one, being envious of their achievements. So saying things like, you shouldn't, I'm not going to give you praise for that. That's something that's something you're supposed to do. Now, although that's not always disguised as envy, sometimes it's, I'm just trying to prevent my child from getting a big head, but sometimes it really is just envy. Other times, maybe it's not. It depends on the person. Although I would say, don't try to humble your child, okay? Of course, make sure that they understand the difference between pride and humility, but give them their props when they do things. So when they achieve the A honor roll, don't tell them that that's something that they're supposed to do. Maybe you were unable to achieve the A honor roll because you had a terrible teacher, or because you didn't have supportive parents, or whatever the case may be. But make sure that you are praising or giving them encouragement, not praising them, giving them encouragement for the achievements that they are accomplishing. Another thing is appearances. Maybe your child is just absolutely gorgeous. Or fathers, maybe your son is super handsome and he's getting, he has more crushes, or more girls have crushes on him at school than when you were younger. And maybe you feel a little envious or jealous of that because that wasn't you. Once again, really analyze things, and don't stifle their growth. Speak to them, help them to know what to do with that handsomeness, know what to do with those achievements, but don't tell them that they can't do things because you're jealous of them. And then the last thing is relationships. Sometimes, especially when it comes to grandparents, sometimes parents are envious of their child's relationship with their parent because that parent, so the grandparent of the child, didn't raise the parent in the way that they're trying to raise their grandchild. And I think we probably have all in some way experienced that of, oh, if I was that child, I wouldn't have, if that was me, I wouldn't have gotten away with that. But here you are, you would have whooped me, you would have did this, you would have taken all my toys or whatever. But here this child is doing, all you do is yelling at them, or just, oh, let them jump on my couch, it's fine. And so having some envy towards your children because, like I said, that relationship that you might have wanted from your parents, your child is getting that attention. That's not your child's fault. So I strongly encourage that you have that conversation with your parent about how you feel. Once again, using I statements. I feel this way when this happens. I felt alone as a child when you didn't play with me, and here you are every weekend you asking for the grandchild to come over so that you can play with them. This is what I would like want this is what I would like to say. I would like for us to have one-on-one time. I would like for us, maybe as an adult you don't want to play anymore, but I would like for us to go on, father son dates, mother daughter, mother son, whatever type of dates. Um, but don't take it out on your child, because it's not your child's fault. Your child was just brought into this world. They didn't choose for your parent to treat you differently than how, they're treating your child. So once again, as we're talking about envy, it's so important for you to just communicate with your children. First, to assess yourself and be realistic, be honest with yourself. It doesn't help you if you deny that I'm not envious of my child's achievements. I'm not envious of their relationship with this person, or maybe even you're envious of the relationship that they have with your spouse. But anyway, you're not envious of their appearances or whatever. That's not beneficial to you. So make sure that you are really assessing yourself. And then also just have conversations. Maybe you need to assess things with it, or maybe you need to have dialogue with a therapist. Maybe you need to have dialogue with your spouse or with your parent or whatever. Don't take it out on the child, okay? It's not your child's fault that they are able to be successful. Make sure that you are celebrating those accomplishments, okay? It's not your child's fault that they came out looking the way that they look, or that they have this talent or gift or whatever. It's not their fault. Once again, celebrate them. And it's not that your child's fault that they have this relationship with somebody that you want to have a close relationship with. The second quality is boastfulness. So once again, according to the Oxford Dictionary, it is showing excessive pride and self-satisfaction in one's achievements, possessions, or abilities. So always boasting about something. And why is this not good? Because you don't want to teach your children that boastfulness is a good thing. Typically when people boast, it's because they're insecure about something. So don't boast. You can talk about your accomplishments in a way that's not like, well, I have all these things and everybody else is beneath me, and you need to praise me because I'm doing all these great, amazing things. Because once again, your children are sponges. They are going to take in everything that you do, and they're going to think that that is correct. So some ways that parents tend to be boastful towards their children is, one, highlighting their own accomplishments. When their child does something, for example, if your child wins second place in something, and instead of being like, oh man, you should be so proud of yourself, you got second place, it's great. You said, well, when I was your age, I got first place. Get like me. That's not fair. Your child probably tried their best. Don't insert yourself in a moment when it's supposed to be your child's. Because once again, what is that teaching them? It is teaching them that it's all about you. It's all about mom. It's all about dad. It's all about grandparent, whoever, grandma, grandpa, whoever is watching this. All about the guardian. And it's not. That's your child's moment. Make sure that they feel celebrated. And then the other thing is seeking credit for things or talking about your sacrifices. That is a form of boasting. Oh, well, you wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for me. Oh, you wouldn't have been able to even have your little cheerleading meets if it wasn't for my money. Or of course you're able to do that. It's because of me. It's because you got that from me, or because you got the money from me, or because you got this gift or talent from me, or it's because I pushed you. Always looking for some type of credit is a form of boasting. Of course your child knows that it comes from you. Of course your child knows that it was your sacrifices that allowed them to be able to do this, but don't make them feel bad about it, because you made that decision. And that's what parenting is. It is about sacrificing. The parent-child relationship is one of the most non-beneficial relationships, because you are giving your all to your children, and your children do not owe you anything back. So please keep that in mind. That can damage your relationship with your child if you constantly make them feel like that they owe you something, or that you're having to sacrifice for them. Once again, allow your child's moment to be their moment. Don't say words like, this is my house. This is my, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be able to. They know that. They know that. Just help them to understand appreciation. Teach them about appreciation, but that also means you have to show appreciation to other people, because your children are sponges, and you don't want them to go around thinking that being boastful is what they're supposed to do. And the third quality is pride. Using the Oxford Language Dictionary, once again, it is talking about a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. So why is being prideful in front of your children or towards your children damaging? Because you're not built like, when you're prideful, it's a wall right there. Your child can't enter in because of that pride. Now, some examples of pride is when you're dismissing their input. When you're saying, oh, you wouldn't know anything about this. You don't want to hear nothing that your child has to say because you're young. You don't know nothing. And truth of the matter is, sometimes like it's disguised as you know, stay in a child's place. But really, it's your pride. You don't want to hear what your child has to say because you feel like that they are your child and that they don't have nothing to say. But if you listen to your children, they can give you a different perspective. And sometimes a different perspective, although they don't have many years on this earth, is actually wise. Allow your child to voice their input, of course, on certain things. I'm not saying in everything, but like I say, your children have different perspectives that they can give you input on, and that you can even either say, that was a great idea, or, well, if we do this, then then this is going to happen. So then you're still helping them to think through their thoughts, voice their thoughts, and then y'all can work together to help them think it through instead of just immediately shutting them down because of their age. I don't know how many times I was told I was too young to do things. And then I got older and I heard about all these different people who were able to do things at a young age. And it was like, wow, I didn't even realize that I could do things. Like when I went to college, even I felt like I was too young to take on certain opportunities that were right in front of me, because it was always the expectation of, you're young, you're limited in the things that you can say and you can do. And you don't want your children to have that mentality. Additionally, once again, bringing up all of the sacrifices that you've made, being prideful of, I gave you birth, I give you food, I give you all the things that you're supposed to do, and making your children feel like that they owe you because of that. That's pride. Your children don't owe you. Once again, just because you've given them life, just because you've done all these things for you, they don't owe you anything. Or invalidating their struggles. Yes, you have a lot of things going on as the adult, but your children do too. They do. And so don't invalidate their struggles or the things that they're going through just because they're children. Because once again, you're invalidating their emotions. So use I statements. Teach them to use I statements. Yes, teach them to express gratitude to you and appreciation, but don't do it in a prideful way. Like, you owe me this. Just teach them that having gratitude and appreciation in life is a great quality to have, and it just makes life more enjoyable. And once again, you may need to go to therapy to really assess your pride and think about the way that you were raised. Were you raised in a prideful household? And is that something that you really want to pass down to your children? That is all that I have for today. Once again, make sure that you subscribe so that you'll be, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time that I post a video, because we're going to continue going through 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. We just addressed all of 1 Corinthians 4 today. If you have any questions, please make sure that you leave them in the comment section, as well as give me a time when you were prideful, when you were envious, or when you were boastful towards your child, or maybe you've seen it happen in your own childhood or in other people's childhood or whatever. Give some encouragement as well as share a story in the comment section. Until next time.